Alright, we are here in beautiful sunny Florida, and today, fight fans, we are going to be breaking down Bellator 173, McGeary versus McDermott in Belfast, Northern Ireland, and Bellator 174, Coenen versus Bud in Thackerville, Oklahoma. And, the reason I'm going to be doing both these, I just figured I wanted to have a video up this week. There's no UFC. There is a Bellator, but this Bellator 173 McGeary versus McDermott, it's an international card. There's not a whole lot on it. I'm only going to be talking about 3 fights on here. So I just decided I would do a duo breakdown also with the next week's Bellator card 174 because that is actually a damn good card. So I just figured I'd blend the two. I got a total of 7 fights I'm going to be going to be getting in depth with for this video, and there's some good stuff, man. I'm excited. There's some good names on here, some solid fights. It's good stuff. Of course, my betting recap from last week's UFC did not go my way. I did have my first losing event of 2017. I did lose 4.3 units. However, man, I don't want to make excuses or say I should have won. But looking back on it, I really lost. The Carla Esparza decision really it screwed me. That was like a 6.6 unit swing had Carla Esparza got that decision. So I would have had a winning night had she got that decision. Most people thought she won. Is what it is. Not here to complain about it anymore. I did at first, but it's the past now. And also the big Travis Brown the fight. If Travis Brown would have won, I also would have had a winning night. He had a great first round, was catching Lewis to the body with some great shots. It looked like the fight was going to be over. Derek Lewis turned his back to Travis Brown, which a lot of the times the referee will stop the fight just based on that. However, I am not going to complain about that whatsoever because obviously the ref letting the fight go. Derek Lewis, he got his shit together, and he knocked out Travis Brown in the next round, so big props to him. And, yeah, man, I did lose 4.3 units, but I wouldn't consider it a bad night for myself. Very close fights. Just based on that Carla Esparza fight, it could have just swung as a losing night or a winning night for me. It's close, man. I'm a long-term winner anyway, so I am looking to get back on the horse at UFC 209 here, and I am still up 20 units on the year, so nothing really to be too sad about. It's just one of those tough nights that happens to everybody. But getting into these fights here, man, these are just going to be pretty quick. This is actually the first video I'm going to do without, I didn't do any notes for these fights whatsoever. I'm just going to basically be shooting the shit on these fights and what I really think about them. But getting into it, man, Bellator 173 McGeary versus McDermott in Belfast, Northern Ireland on Friday the 24th, so 2 days from now. I think this is another tape delay card. I don't know why Bellator continues to do these tape delay shows, but it is what it is. So there's only 5 fights on this Bellator card, just because I'm pretty sure they morph this Bellator card with the Bama show, and they do all their shit together. So there's only 5 fights on this card. This first fight, Colin Fletcher versus Alex Lahore. Never heard of these guys. Didn't bother doing a tape study on it, but based on the little research I did, I'm going to go with Lahore. James McErlin versus Shea Walsh. I am a little familiar with Shea Walsh. I know he had that fight with Tom Duquesnoy, and Tom Duquesnoy got that unbelievable standing elbow knockout on him. But based on the little research I did, I am going to go with Shea Walsh. Moving on to the first fight, I do want to quickly talk about here. We got Sinead Kavanagh, 4-0, taking on Ione Razafiarison, 2-1. This is a 140-pound catch weight in the women's division. Sinead Kavanagh, she does train at SBG under John Kavanagh. Surprisingly, there is no relation there. I just looked that up today. I've always wondered, is she related to John Kavanagh? But no, she is not. I guess Kavanagh is just a common last name in Ireland, but Sinead is a really good boxer, man. I think if she can work on her ground and her wrestling, we're looking at a legit prospect in the 135-pound women's division. She's very good, man. Such slick striking, very aggressive, big power for the women's division. But like I said, just that wrestling and ground game. I mean, it's not terrible by any means, but it's definitely not all there. But Ione Razafiarison, she is 2-1, and she did lose her last fight, so she was 2-0 before that. And I watched her second fight where she became 2-0. She fought some girl in I believe it was France, and she looked really good in there. Showed some really good striking. Actually showed a damn good ground game in my opinion. But then in her Bellator debut, I think this was like a year ago or something like that. She made her debut against this girl that was like 1-3 or 2-3 or something like that, and she lost a decision there. I wasn't able to find that fight anywhere, but that's just weird, man. Because in her second fight, I mean, maybe the girl she beat in France just was not good at all, but I saw good technique from Razafiarison in there. So I don't know, man. My pick is going to be Sinead Kavanagh here to get it done on the feet, but if there are odds out for this fight, I'm definitely not going to be betting on Kavanagh just based on I think Razafiarison has a decent ground game, and that is Kavanagh's weak spot. So betting wise, pass on this fight, but Kavanagh is the pick. But moving on here, we got James Gallagher minus or 5-0 taking on Kirill Medvedovski 7-4. 145-pound fight. So James Gallagher, I believe he's something like 20 years old. This kid is very, very young, but he has shown a lot of promise for a 19, 20-year-old kid. He's shown some great skills. Yeah, he is 20 years old. Dude's younger than me. But yeah, James Gallagher, he's going out there and beating everyone, but I do think he is a little overhyped. I don't really see it completely. He's got, like I said, for a 20-year-old, yes, he's good, and he's got tons of time to, get better, but I don't think this kid is some world beater. Like, he was calling out guys like Bubba Jenkins in Bellator. Bubba Jenkins would eat him alive with his wrestling, man. Bubba Jenkins is no joke. James, but that being said, this dude Kirill Medvedovski, who fights out of Israel, he is not that great at all, man. Looking at his record right now, I believe he lost something like his last 4 fights in a row, maybe. Yeah, he's lost 4 out of his last 5. Those being his only 4 losses, so it's been a tough go for him. He's fought some tough dudes. He doesn't have a loss to a guy that's 3-3. He did make his Bellator debut against Georgi Karakhanyan in November. Karakhanyan did get that TKO in the first round. And I did watch, which one of these fights did I watch of this guy? I watched his fight against Magomed Jinazov in ACB, which is one of the bigger Russian promotions. And Kirill, he just showed a complete lack of skills. He does have more experience than James Gallagher. So you really just never know. But this being in Ireland, all the momentum is with Gallagher. You got to go with Gallagher here. But that being said, he still is a very young kid. And I believe the betting lines is going to be something crazy for Gallagher, like minus 500 or something like that. So betting-wise, this is just another pass for me. But the pick is going to be James Gallagher, probably by submission. Probably decision, actually. I'm going to go with James Gallagher via decision, and I didn't give a pick for my last fight, but I think Sinead Kavanagh is going to get it done by, I think she can TKO the girl late, maybe 3rd round TKO. But moving on to the main event of this card here, we got Liam McGeary taking on Brett McDermott, 205 pounds, light heavyweight matchup. Liam McGeary was originally supposed to face Chris Fields. Fields got injured. Then he was supposed to fight this guy, oh man, what's his damn name? Something Filipovich. God, I forget his first name. But yeah, Vladimir Filipovich. And doing, I did tape study for all 3 of these fights. I watched tape on Chris Fields, and I watched tape on Vladimir Filipovich. Now I sat here and did tape study on Brett McDermott, and man, I would have loved that Vladimir Filipovich fight because Filipovich is bad, man. He is terrible. I was looking to definitely bet Liam McGeary inside the distance there, but he's got a much tougher fight, in my opinion, here with Brett McDermott. I actually think out of all 3 guys McGeary has been scheduled to face, McDermott is the toughest one. Now, it is very short notice for Brett McDermott. However, man, he's still a tough out. This is definitely not a gimme fight for Liam McGeary, although I do think he is the much superior fighter. McGeary, he's going to have a huge, just reach advantage here. He's probably going to be able to jab McDermott up. McDermott, he's a slugger, man. He goes out there and looks for the KO. He does have big power. If I could compare him to anybody, I'd say he's a lot like Ollie Thompson, really kind of short for the heavyweight division, or well, he's 205, but you get what I mean. He's short, stocky, big power. He actually fought Ollie Thompson and knocked him out, so he's a little bit better than him. Another thing, McDermott's a decent athlete, man. He was a professional rugby player, and dude's just a brute, man, and he's tough as fuck. I think he's only got knocked out one time in that fight with King Mo and Ryzen. Yeah, he only got knocked out one time, submitted twice, and funny enough, that is going to be my pick, is going to be a Liam McGeary submission. I think we're looking at a close fight on the feet in the first round. Probably give that to McGeary just based off the length. He's probably going to be jabbing the dude up, but I would not be surprised if McDermott landed a hard shot or two, but I think McGeary's chin will hold up. He's never been knocked out. But then I do think in that second round, McGeary is going to look to get the fight onto the ground. He's going to have no problem doing that. And he's going to lock up maybe another inverted triangle like he got against Knudsen and Tito Ortiz. So pick here is Liam McGeary via a second round submission. I do like him quite a bit here. I wish he was still facing Filipovic because that would have been a bet for me. This one is a little bit sketchier. We'll see how the lines look, but pick is Liam McGeary, maybe a bet. We will see. But moving on to the next Bellator here, man. We got Bellator 174, Coenen versus Bud for the inaugural Bellator 145-pound title. I'm fucking excited for this matchup, man. Now, I'm not as excited for this matchup as I was for Jermaine Durandamy and Holly Holm. But these girls are real 145-pounders, unlike Holm and Durandamy. These girls are the number 2 and number 3 featherweight fighters in the world. Yes, even ahead of Megan Anderson. Maybe Megan Anderson could take out... maybe she beats these girls, but those are definitely the top 4. Megan Anderson, Coenen, Bud, and Cyborg. But great fight here, man. I'm super excited about it. But starting at the first fight of the main card, we got Steve Garcia Jr. taking on Baby Joe Taimanglo, man. I like this dude, Baby Joe. Of course, probably upset of the year last year against Darian Caldwell. He was something like plus 800, and big shocker there. Baby Joe is a very, very technical, underrated fighter that is not talked about that much, and 31 fights. The dude is seasoned. And Steve Garcia, man, he's a good fighter. He's solid. He's got good boxing, decent wrestling, decent on the ground. However, I just think Baby Joe is too technical for him here, man. He's faced better opposition, much more experienced, and I kind of really like Baby Joe here a lot to just outbox Steve Garcia, to wrestle him, to school him on the ground. I honestly think he's probably better everywhere here. Now, that being said, Steve Garcia does fight out of Jackson's MMA in Albuquerque, which, of course, is one of the best camps in the world. And Baby Joe, looking right now, he trains at a place called Spike 22, which I've never heard of. Looking at it now, yeah. Who else trains there? J.J. Ambrose. Yeah, nobody I've really ever heard of. So definitely a big camp advantage here for Steve Garcia, but I just think Baby Joe is the much better fighter here, so I am going to go with him, probably via decision. Submission wouldn't surprise me, and if the line is right, I'm going to be looking at a bet on Baby Joe. By the way, this card is Friday, March 3rd, the day before UFC 209. So, yeah, man, I'm looking forward to this card. That's going to be a banging weekend. I love this card. I love UFC 209. That weekend is going to be a great weekend of MMA. Moving on here, we got Fernando Gonzales taking on Brandon Girtz at 170 pounds. I like Fernando Gonzales a lot. There's a lot to like about this kid. He doesn't have the greatest record in the world at 25-14, but a lot of those losses came early on in his career, man. He's really found his stride. He's beating a lot of good guys. Of course, went 3 rounds with Paul Daly in a kickboxing match. That's what really opened my eyes about this dude. He's super, super good. I believe the first time I saw him fight was when he knocked out Karo Parisian. And I just counted that too. Oh, Karo Parisian, he's just a shot fighter. He'd probably get knocked out by most people. Then he went in there and decisioned Marius Zaromskis. I'm like, all right, whatever. Marius Zaromskis is a fighter way past his prime. Submitted Curtis Melander, okay. But then going in there, even in a loss, beating or just losing slightly to Paul Daly in that kickboxing match, that opened my eyes. Then, of course, he went out there and beat Gilbert Smith. And then most recently in this fight against Michael Venom Page. Just a terrible fight, man. He should not have been a plus 340. I mean, it was a split decision, but just a terrible fight. Michael Venom Page, he made that a boring fight for sure. But that being said, here Brandon Girtz is no easy matchup here. Brandon Girtz is no joke. He did. I remember he lost to Campos. He lost a decision to Campos like 3 years ago, and then he rematches him like last year or a year and a half ago, and he knocked him out in like 30 seconds. Got that win against Melvin Gillard. Really, I mean, you look at the guys Brandon Girtz has lost to Derek Anderson, who's a great prospect, Adam Piccolotti, who's another great prospect, Derek Campos, he avenged that loss. So Girtz really is only losing to the best of the best. He was on that 3-win streak before dropping that loss to Piccolotti, but I like Fernando Gonzales here. I think he's going to be able to pick apart Brandon Girtz on the feet, maybe stuff takedowns. I think Brandon Girtz is basically just going to be looking for bombs and takedowns. I think Gonzales could definitely avoid the bombs. The takedowns is another question. I think I definitely like the over in this fight. We'll see what the line's going to be on that, but I'm going to go with Fernando Gonzales via decision, but that's not what the craziest confidence in the world. But Fernando Gonzales 29-28 is my pick. But moving on to the co-main event of the evening here, we got Chris Honeycutt taking on Kendall Grove at 185 pounds. So Honeycutt, I thought his last fight he looked great, man. I think we're finally seeing this dude improve. Of course, decorated wrestler, one of the best pure wrestlers, not only in Bellator, but in MMA alone. Very good wrestler. And he looked great with his striking last fight. Looked slick on the ground. And then you got old Kendall Grove here, who is really... Let me look at this dude's record recently. Who was his last fight against? Oh, yeah, he got murked by Shlemenko, man. He got murked by Shlemenko. Oh, man. It was on a 2-fight win streak before that, but against not that great of opposition. So the last time he fought a dude like Chris Honeycutt was Brandon Halsey. Brandon Halsey was just throwing this dude around and did TKO him in the 4th round. And honestly, man, I think Chris Honeycutt, he's probably just as good as Brandon Halsey, if not better in some areas. Kendall Grove, you got to be careful on the ground with Kendall Grove. I mean, I'm sure Chris Honeycutt is going to be landing takedowns here and pretty much dominating Kendall Grove in my opinion, but Kendall Grove is 6'6", man, and those long legs of his, do not be shocked if he goes out there and submits Chris Honeycutt. Chris Honeycutt doesn't have the greatest fight IQ in the world. He's still big experience advantage here, obviously, for Kendall Grove, so wouldn't blow me out of the water if Kendall Grove submitted Honeycutt off his back, but that's not my pick here, man. I'm going to be going with Chris Honeycutt via a pretty much dominant, probably 30-26 decision. Just throw Kendall Grove around here. But not much to say here, man. I honestly don't think this will be that great of a fight. But a fight I do think should probably be great. We got the main event of the evening. We got Marloes Coenen taking on Julia the Jewel Budd for the inaugural 145-pound title for Bellator. And... man, on Tapology, let me see here, the pick percentage, so very, very close here. 51% of people are going with Marloes Coenen, and 49% of people are going with Julia Budd. So, according to the hardcore fan base, this is just a ridiculously close fight, but not for me, man. I like Julia Budd here a lot, actually. She doesn't have the experience Marloes Coenen does. She's 9-2. Marloes Coenen 23-7. But here's the thing: Marloes Coenen is aging and regressing. Julia Budd, in my opinion, is getting better. Not only that, I think Marlos Coenen is just gonna have a hard time defending takedowns here. Julia Budd is such a strong woman. She is just brutal with her takedowns. She's gonna be able to rip Marlos Coenen down to the ground. Now, a lot of people are going to be saying, well, she's going to take Coenen down to the ground, but doesn't Coenen have so much better BJJ? Well, yeah, she does, but then again, she is regressing. Julia Budd's going to be putting herself in dominant enough positions to not get caught. So Julia Budd, she's 9-2. Who are her two losses? Are I want to say they're Ronda Rousey and Amanda Nunes for some reason. They are. They are to Ronda Rousey and Amanda Nunes. Amanda Nunes knocked her out in 14 seconds. Ronda Rousey submitted her in 39 seconds. So, and those were the Nunes fight was her second fight. The Rousey fight was her fourth fight. Julia Budd holds a win over Jermaine Durandamy. That's not really saying much just because it's such a tough matchup for Jermaine Durandamy. But honestly, man, I love Julia Budd here. I don't really know how to express it. It's a lot of a gut thing, but Marlos Coenen, I want to say she's like 35 years old now, and that loss against Alexis Dufresne, that really stuck to me, man. Alexis Dufresne is a woman I do not think highly about in the slightest, and she submitted Marlos Coenen in the first round. Coenen was a minus 600 there. Oh, that's crazy, man. But and I actually had a bet on Marlos Coenen there, and then Marlos Coenen was scheduled to face Talita Nogueira, the world BJJ champion from a couple of years back, and Talita Nogueira was like a plus like 300 or something like that, and I had a bet on Talita Nogueira. However, Nogueira missed weight, so that fight never came about. But I've been looking to fade Coenen here since the Dufresne fight. And I'm going to be looking to fade her here. Hopefully the line on Julia Budd is nice and sweet. I think she's going to be able to take Coenen down. Hold her there. Now, 5 rounds is a tough task, but I think the first 3 rounds, the takedowns should come somewhat easy. And it's really the 4th and 5th round that she's got to worry about the sub once Julia Budd starts to tire. But in those first 3 rounds, Budd's going to be on top of Coenen, grinding her out. Coenen is going to be very tired. I doubt she's going to be able to throw up a submission there. Not some kind of round 5 miracle like Anderson Silva, Chael Sonnen, but man, and then there's the possibility that these girls' ground games could maybe like cancel each other out, and we could see a striking match here. But honestly, I think Julia Budd maybe she, Marlos Coenen, she's Dutch, so people just assume she's got that Dutch kickboxing, but she's not that great of a striker. Julia Budd isn't that great of a striker either, but I think the striking's even here, but Julia Budd has more power, so wouldn't shock me in the slightest if Julia Budd could hurt Coenen on the feet. So all around, I'm just going to stop rambling here. But I really like Julia Budd here, and hopefully the line is going to be nice and close. Official pick is going to be Julia Budd via decision. In the distance wouldn't surprise me, but yeah, man, like Julia Budd here. Well, that's going to do it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I am going to be doing my UFC 209 full card breakdown on Tuesday. I'm going to be going live on my channel at around 7 p.m. and I'm going to be joined by Rockstar Z as normal, and then Dan Tom, the MMA analyst. If you're not familiar with Dan Tom, excellent, awesome guy, man. He does some great work over at Flow Combat. He's got his podcast, Protect Your Neck podcast. Very good dude. Very, very smart with his MMA knowledge, and I'm very much looking forward to chatting it up with that guy and talking those amazing fights next week for UFC 209. So subscribe to the channel if you're not. Definitely don't miss out on that. That roundtable is going to be just full of awesome talks. So yeah, man, thank you guys for watching. Like the video, takes 2 seconds, and tell me who you're really confident on for this Bellator card. So it's going to do it. Enjoy the fights.